So hey guys, this is Dan again. This is a continuation video of the 210 gallon saltwater tank with the 3 displays that I'm doing here. This is going to be my sump. It's a 40 gallon breeder, and I got this at Petco for $1 a gallon sale, so it was 40 bucks. They do that about 3 times a year, I think. Anyways, the acrylic I got at Lowe's, 2 foot by 4 foot piece, was 65 bucks, so it was a little pricey. And then the silicone that I use is also from Lowe's, and it's about $4.50 a pop. As you can see, it also says aquarium safe. So this is what I've used for the most part. I've built about 8 sumps probably over the last 6 years. Never had any problems as far as any walls coming down. Nothing mechanical. I've had some design flaws that I've had to correct, but nothing as far as anything falling apart because of the way it was put together. Okay, so this is my filter bracket, and I've had a design change already. At first I had the plexiglass in between here and here, and I was going to put an overflow wall and pull these filters out through the top. Upon further thinking of a previous problem I had, and I was going to have the bulkheads dropping in on this ledge right here all the way across the back. Upon further thinking, I had another tank that I had kind of the same setup here, and the water would splash off of this ledge and actually come up in between this plastic and the glass, because these are not fully siliconed on the inside, and then be dripping on the outside between the plastic and the glass, and I was losing water and getting moisture under my tank. So I changed the way I was doing this. I cut these brackets out and made these so they slide in and out this way, so I can put a full cover on this, and I'll drain my bulkheads directly into the top of the filter so it won't be splashing as bad. And I used a grinder to cut this, and now these filters will come out nicely from the side. So building this bracket, I put these 4 brackets in first. These I just cut on the table saw. The plexiglass can be cut with a table saw, miter saw, grinder, jigsaw, all kinds of stuff. So anyways, I siliconed these 2 in and these 2 in, and then let that sit overnight. Then I put the top on, siliconed it in, and then went ahead and put my 2 front brackets so I knew exactly where they needed to go. So that's how I put that together. I've already got my 9-inch wall for my skimmer put in. Same story. And then this is going to be my other wall here for the bubble trap. And now, so I put these 2 little blocks down here. And I've done this on every tank, and I haven't had any problems with the suspended wall coming down. I actually put those in there so that this wall can sit on that and not all the weight being on just the silicone of that wall. And then I tapered the bottom of these so it does not affect the silicone that's already there from the actual aquarium. So I do that with all my cuts on anything that's going next to the silicone. I put a little 45-degree or a bevel cut on that, so that it doesn't affect the silicone from the tank. So I'm going to show you how to cut, or how I cut the glass, the plexiglass, different ways of doing that. So give me 1 second here. Okay, so with a table saw, all you got to do on this acrylic is run it really slow. There's nothing special about the blade that's on there. It's a standard wood blade. It might be a fine finish blade, but that's about it. So here we go. This one I'm going to do on the miter saw, same story. It'll cut nice, you just got to take it slow. Okay, so I'm getting ready to glue this extra brace. That's got a picture of the little 45 I cut to miss the silicone, so you can see that. So this is going to go under here like that. That's why I cut that 45. See how that's gliding right over that silicone that's already for the tank, so we don't want to disturb that. So I usually put it in place. I mark it with a black dry erase marker because that wipes right off. Take it out of the way. You want to make sure on the glass that you wipe the glass off where you're going to be siliconing with some rubbing alcohol. Is what I've always used. I'm sure there's some other stuff you can use. Just to make sure that glass is nice and clean and ready to accept the silicone. No debris on it. I also, on all the plexiglass where you're going to glue it or silicone it, take some sandpaper and roughen it up. Just like so. I kind of already did that, but I was going to show you again anyways. And then wipe that down as well. Make sure that's nice and clean. So that's the preparation for it. So hold on a sec. So roughing it up with the sandpaper wherever there's going to be silicone, which is going to be 3 sides of this thing. And that just gives some extra gripping power to the silicone is the purpose of this. It roughens up so it's not as smooth of a surface for it to be grabbing. And I'm going to take my silicone, put it along this edge so I cover all the grooves in the back of this. And I'm going to go ahead and go along the bottom too just because. And we'll go ahead and go along the top. That line provides you with a good solid line to go by. You might get a little extra silicone on some things, but who cares? Set that in just as an initial. Okay, so I've put a layer of silicone all the way around this thing, just with the tube. Now I'm just going with my finger, smoothing it out. Making sure it's pushed in between all the silicone cracks and everything. I always tend to do overkill versus underkill because I just don't want any of this stuff to come apart. I mean, that's just a nightmare. So I tend to goop it on pretty good. It's in a sump. It ain't really going to be a display thing, so. Okay. Good. Okay, so this is kind of the finished product of the sump. I've got my lid where I will eventually, when I'm doing my plumbing, drill my holes right over the filters for my bulkheads. So they'll drain right down into that filter. Like I said, filters, bam, nice and easy to come out. No problems there. That's one of the most things you got to do all the time, so you want that to be as easy as possible. So the skimmer I have now is actually supposed to be at 7 inches. But in case I ever got a bigger skimmer and it needed to be higher, I didn't want to have to add more to that wall later. So that's why I made this 2-inch basically stand to put my skimmer on, and that's just in case I decide to upgrade to a bigger skimmer later. So that skimmer stand is just some pieces of plexiglass that are silicone together, so no big deal there. This is my return section. So I made a really big return section for 2 reasons. One is I'm going to have an internal submersible pump. I'm not going external because I haven't had that much more reliability, and it's less plumbing outside of the tank that can have a possibility of leaks, is the one reason. And the other reason is a design flaw on some of my other sumps in the past. I made that return section so small that I was having to fill it up every 3 days or so. And so I wanted a really big volume here, so I maybe only have to fill it up once a week. Granted, I'm probably going to have a auto top off on here, so it's probably not even going to be that big of a deal, but just in case. So that's basically the sump, guys. Came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. It's not that bad to build a sump. So I've got like 110 bucks into this thing, and you know, a 40-gallon sump is probably going to be at least 250 bucks if you go buy one. So, and it's customized to what I want. So hope you enjoyed it. Next video is probably going to be my modification on my stand to put the other two 29-gallon displays in. So hopefully see you then. Thanks.